In complete contrast, the late film this evening ventures into a Californian national forest, a popular place to spend a holiday, marred only by two ravenous Bengal tigers looking for a picnic. Man-eaters are loose at 10:50. On BBC Two in a couple of minutes, there's comedy with confetti as Rhoda launches into her big day. Here in 25 minutes, Starsky and Hatch, and the partnership is in danger of being terminated when Starsky is injected with the deadly poison. First, though, the 9 o'clock news with Richard Whitmore.
Holly Roffey died this morning, 18 days after her heart transplant. The banks cut the cost of borrowing for the third time in a fortnight. Police under fire on a Yorkshire picket line. And their response. The Los Angeles jurors explain why they cleared John DeLorean. The Russians start their games with a promise to outshine the Olympics. Holly Roffey, the baby girl who became the world's youngest heart transplant patient, has died. Holly was given a new heart 18 days ago at the National Heart Hospital in London. She fought for her life and survived 2 serious setbacks. But this morning she developed a third problem, this time with her breathing. Holly's chances of survival were always said to be slim, and her death has raised doubts about whether it was right to operate. This report from Valerie Jones.
Holly was born with one side of her heart missing and was given a transplant at only 10 days old. She had to cope with other problems, a perforated bowel and kidney trouble, but her condition suddenly got worse this morning when she developed breathing difficulties. Her heart surgeon, Mr. Magdi Yaqub, tried to save her, but she died just over an hour later. And it was a blow for the staff who'd watched her 24 hours a day.
I think everybody was disappointed that the outcome wasn't more successful. All the many disciplines within the staff that had been involved with her, which in fact is almost everybody that works in the hospital, we're all very disappointed and upset.
In her short life, had Holly developed any sort of personality?
Well, it's difficult to say in one so young. I think maybe she did show an inner strength in that she had many problems to overcome, which she fought back and did many of them. Of course, it's left us far in the way.
Some specialists have questioned whether the operation on such a tiny baby should ever have been attempted. But a physician colleague of Mr. Yaqub says the operation to give Holly a chance was justified, even though it failed.
It's a disappointment when you don't succeed in something you set out to do, particularly in something as heart-rending as this. It's a disappointment, but it's not a setback because I think we will progress. I cannot say whether more will be done. It's not in my decision, it's in many people's decisions. But it is not a setback because science will have advanced and the baby did not die in vain.
In Holly Roffey's short life, she underwent more surgery than most of us have to face in a lifetime. And because she has died, there is bound to be criticism that the transplant was attempted in the first place. Some might say, why didn't the doctors just let the baby slip away in peace, particularly as Holly later developed other problems. But the surgeon, Magdi Yaqub, was faced with a dilemma. Either he simply abandoned the baby, or he tried a last desperate attempt to save it. Clearly, both he and the baby's parents felt that if a donor heart became available, it was worth taking that chance. At first, Holly did so well, the doctors even agreed to let the cameras in. But after further surgery, she became critically ill, and now her fight for life has ended. But that's not likely to be the end of heart transplants for babies. There's no reason why they shouldn't be as successful as adult heart transplants, especially since a new drug to prevent rejection has proved so successful with adults. Babies who are born with congenital defects of the heart can sometimes have their hearts patched up. But in theory at least, providing them with a completely new heart may well ultimately give them a better chance of a normal life.
And tonight, Holly's grandfather, Richard Roffey, said she had put up a tremendous fight. He paid tribute to the hospital staff and to the surgeon, Mr. Yaqub. And he said every parent would do what Tony and Janet did, given that they were told Holly had only 48 hours to live. Holly's parents say they'd like to have another baby eventually.